I'm still dealing with a lawsuit from the 2020 election that's in the federal courts right now, 11th Circuit Court of Appeals.
Now, we haven't talked about that lawsuit. Can you give us more detail?
Yeah, I was involved in the 2020 District 85 state representative race. And a lot of people don't know in Georgia, there's basically a Jim Crow law. The original law was placed on the books in 1922, and it's been in its current form, I believe, since 1943, I believe. If you want to run independent, it requires you to collect 5% of the registered voters in your district. I was certified with 2,200 signatures. I was not placed on the ballot. And I'm continuing to fight that because it's wrong. And
why do you think it's so difficult to run as an independent in the state? It's almost like they make the hurdle so high that you can't jump over it.
It's pretty much impossible. Like I said, I'm in federal court right now, Bell versus Raffensperger. And it's another defendant on that, Chris Harvey. He used to be the elections director. I didn't want to basically involve myself with either party. I feel that a lot of times we're taking advantage of the Democratic Party. There continues to be an atmosphere, call it what it is, racism against black people, it seems to me, like in the Republican Party, not the entire party, but there's an element there that has been there for a while that doesn't, particularly look frowned upon on the issues that we have in our community.
If you want to run for office and you don't identify with either party, you identify straight down the middle, you should have that opportunity to put your name on the ballot, pay the fee, and run for office. I don't think they should put those hurdles in front of anybody who wants to run as an independent, and I'm still trying to figure out why that is part of today's process.
Yeah, it's in federal court. Hopefully it ends there, but I'm willing to go all the way to the Supreme Court. I've gone this far, 2.5 years, I'm still fighting. The judicial system is not what we're taught to believe it is. It's a plea deal system. So these lawyers are in the business of making deals. When you fighting a cause like this, you're basically on your own.
You're fighting the system.
I'm fighting the system.
I applaud your efforts on that, and probably some things need to change around the voting process in terms of allowing people who don't identify with either party the opportunity to compete. We have a lot of good people out there who will be great public servants who can't run because the process is too difficult.
And definitely on the local level, these political parties, they have national agendas which don't always transfer down to the local level. And these national policies are very divisive. Most people on the local level, they want good schools, good shopping centers, roads, things of that nature, trash pickup.
Quality of life.
They're not really concerned about these national guns, abortion, all this, stuff that divides people. On a local level, you definitely want to have more of a say-so without being tied to these political parties that have other agendas. I examined history, and there was a mass migration from the South after Reconstruction. Because during Reconstruction, we were getting in these U.S. Congress, U.S. Senate, things of that nature. The federal government moved the troops out of the South, and that period of freedom was taken from us. But people didn't stop fighting. And they didn't stop fighting because it was a thing called hanging fruit.
Talk about that.
Well, these people, we'll never know who they are. We'll never know who these people ever were.
The true fighters.
The true fighters, the ones that died for this. And they don't have names like Martin Luther King or Marcus Garvey or Rosa Parks because they were hung.
Yeah.
They were hung for trying to go and vote.
The system, I hate to say it, the system is genius. The systemic racism, the educational process, all that stuff plays into the system, all the way to the media, what we see on TV every day. It programs us to think a certain way. It programs us to act a certain way. We're influenced very easily by people the chosen people that they put in front of us as influencers. It's difficult to move a real agenda forward, especially an agenda of freedom forward, because you have so many people that are influenced by things that hold our community back.
It's due to a lack of information. Back in the days of slavery, they would kill you if you knew how to read. Then if I give you a book on Mansa Musa, who was the richest man that ever lived, then you know that I'm lying.
Or they probably won't believe you. So, I mean, that's how deep the programming is. I mean, let's just be honest about it. A lot of people are out there talking about the election. CEO Michael Thurman will be ending his term at the end of next year. And you have a number of people that are going to be vying for that seat.
Well, I don't know if anyone's declared yet. I hear certain names.
What names are you hearing?
I'm hearing Lorraine Cochran Johnson. I'm hearing Bradshaw.
So what's your thoughts on the race? For
Well,
CEO
I'm not going to endorse anybody. I look at the planning and sustainability department. I call it, not me, but the community, they call it the gas station and storage unit department.
Oh, wow.
Because all the old department stores or plazas, they turn those into storage units.
Okay, so let's talk about this department. Is this an economic development department for Dekalb County?
It is. But then they don't have people that are trained in planning and development running the department.
But what's the role of the department?
The role of the department, like it should be, to bring in economic investments that will bring money into the county. That should be.
We see that on the north side.
They're building a huge apartment complex on Covenant Highway. That's like a 1970 model style apartment. It's like an updated version of East Lake Meadows.
When developers come into Dekalb County, before you propose a development, they're going to sit down with the government, with commissioners, to talk about what style development is needed for a particular area, and then the commissioner agrees on, hey, I think this would benefit this particular part of my district. That's not happening in DeKalb?
Well, I guess it is. And this is what we're getting. It has to be incompetence. They don't know how to bring in the proper development, or they're buddy with the developers. And once you sell out, you have no say so on what they do.
But that's not going to be a cheap development. I mean, the cost of money is higher, and if it's as large as you say it's going to be, they're going to spend some money on that development. So why not talk to the developer and help create a development that not just benefits that community, but benefits the county as a whole?
Well, that's a good question, but it's not being done. Obviously, it's not being done because you can go less than 2 or 3 miles further up towards Atlanta and see the type of new ideas, new development.
That's your model.
That's your model. So they're using models from not even the 80s. Not even like You can look at the old East Lake Meadows, which was built around the Olympics.
You know what popped in my head when you said that? Cabrini Green in Chicago.
Exactly. They tore it down. It doesn't work. So why would you continue to build things that don't work?